Hey YouTube, we are back again this week for another video portion of the Daly Dose Sports Podcast. Hope everyone out there is doing well. Hope you're all staying healthy. Hope you are keeping up on the world of sports, which right now is extremely busy. This week on the Daly Dose YouTube video, well, we actually took a week off last week. We did a short video, but the podcast itself was the best of. So this week, we are catching everyone up with what we did last week, and we are discussing a really disturbing trend that we have noticed happening pretty much everywhere. So let's go ahead and jump into the podcast right now. We haven't quite started. Let's go ahead and get started right now. Wednesday, October 21st, 2020. You are listening to the Daly Dose Sports Podcast, and I am your host, Clint Daly, coming to you from the Mile High City here in Denver, Colorado. And we are back for another week of talking sports with a dose of common sense. Hey, happy Wednesday to you. I hope your week is going well. I hope that you, your family, your friends, your loved ones, your coworkers, hope everyone out there is staying healthy right now. We are happy to have you here with us today. And yes, we are back this week. Last week, we took a little break. We actually went out to see some family in California. Yes, folks, last week, I was in the belly of the beast. I flew with my family to California. Now, it was our first time on a plane since March. We were down in Mexico when the whole pandemic thing hit. We flew back home. It was the first time on a plane again since then. And it does make you a little bit nervous to go to the airport, to get in line, to go through security, to get a flight, to do all those things. But I noticed a few things during that process. And it's not just in air travel. But we need to discuss a few trends that I am noticing right now in these unprecedented times we keep hearing about. Because, here at the Daly Dose, we are not that big on adults playing make-believe. Like, I stopped playing make-believe when I was a little kid. There are certain things, I'm not going to pretend to do this or pretend to do that. I don't like playing make-believe. It's not real. I try to keep most of my focus in reality. And so I don't do a whole lot of make-believe, but man, there is a lot of make-believe going on in the world right now. And no, I'm not talking about people saying like the virus is make-believe. The virus is real. I'm not saying like masks are make-believe. I think there's some studies going on there, whatever. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the virus is all make-believe. That's not what I'm saying. Please don't think that I'm saying that. But we have seen make-believe in the world of sports before. We see it all the time. Think about it. Hey, everybody, pretend that while he was at USC, Reggie Bush didn't win the Heisman. I know we all saw him win the Heisman. We all saw that. But there were some recruiting violations going on. So everyone, we're just going to pretend Reggie Bush didn't win the Heisman. We're going to vacate that Heisman year. I guess it's just pretend, but it's silly. Pretend big-time college basketball coaches aren't blatantly paying players. We know they are. We have FBI wiretaps that prove they are, but pretend they're not. We're just going to go along with it. Everyone just pretend. We're just pretending right now. Everyone just pretend LeBron James doesn't shuffle his feet and travel every time he touches the ball. We all know it's not real, but we just pretend. We just go along with it. Well, I'm seeing a lot of pretending every day in sports right now, and I'm seeing a lot of pretending every day in the real world right now. Think about the NBA season. We're going to be talking about the NBA season today on the show. They were wearing masks within the NBA bubble. You were in a bubble. Every single person going in or going out was being tested every single day. You couldn't be allowed in if you weren't tested. But they still went through the theatrics of putting the masks on the bench, even though the players in the game weren't wearing masks and the coaches on the bench weren't wearing masks. The players that were sitting back there on the bench, they had to put the mask on. It was all just make-believe. We see NFL announcers right now wearing masks in the booth and coaches wearing masks on the sideline. But again, the players on the field aren't wearing masks. And both the players and the coaches are being tested constantly. And we know the announcers in the booth take them off as soon as the cameras are off their faces. Hey, you're not wearing that mask when you do the broadcast. We'd be able to hear the muffled sound if you did. I mean, I guess I could do the whole podcast right now with a mask on, but there's no one near me. So why bother? I don't need to play make-believe. But man, is there a lot of make-believe being played on airline flights right now. So you go to the airport, right? Masks are strictly required. You check in, you get your boarding passes, you check your luggage, you go through security, you go to your gate. You have to keep your mask on the entire time you're there, unless you're eating or drinking. So when you go to the bar or you go to the restaurant, I mean, it's pretty much a free-for-all. You get on your flight, you must wear your mask. You have to wear your mask. They're trying to space passengers out on the flight. So they're separating people. They're not having every person right next to each other every single row. They're trying not to do that as much as possible. So you get on your flight, you're wearing your mask, trying to space people out. They're filtering the air. So far, so good. But then halfway through the flight, now my flight from Denver to like LA, it's 2 hours. Halfway through the flight, they hand out like pretzels and like waters or whatever. And everyone can take their masks down and eat the pretzels and drink the water or whatever. Does the virus know it's pretzel time? Hey, guys, it's pretzel time. Take 5. Let them get their pretzels and their water. We'll get back to infecting people as soon as they're done. Gonna just take a quick break though. Then we'll get back to pillaging in this pandemic. For right now, little break. A lot of make-believe taking place right now. And I get it. Hey, we're all doing some pretending right now in these weird times, right? We're all spraying our groceries with hand sanitizer, or we go to the bars or restaurants, but only until midnight, because remember, the virus knows, hey, it's midnight, let's get out and really get going. We are all showering like 50 times a day in the hopes of killing any germs that we might have picked up when we were out and about. But I'm telling you this right now. Nowhere is there more pretending going on than in the state of California where I just was. I know. California, it's Hollywood, it's all that. California, though, they love to play some pretend. They have ratcheted up their pretending a few notches. Grocery stores are open and crowded. Bars and restaurants are starting to reopen with limited capacity. Public outdoor parks, closed. Huh? I know, I shouldn't be surprised. It's California. Remember, this is the same state that pretends to care about the environment, but their traffic is the worst anywhere on planet Earth. They have no turn on red lights everywhere, despite the fact that in California, aside from the smog, you can see for miles. Like in Colorado, you might be on a hill, so visibility might be limited. But in California, like I can see clear to Las Vegas, but I'm sitting at a light because they don't trust me to turn. So traffic is just backing up behind me. In fact, while we were in California, the governor of California signed an executive order requiring all new passenger vehicles that would be sold in the state have to be zero-emission electric vehicles by the year 2035. Sounds great. Hey, everyone's going to go emission-free. That's awesome. But this is more pretending because we remember California is also known for rolling electrical blackouts. Yeah, that should go well. All cars are required to be electric, except for you can't charge your car. I'll say this. I love my family in California. It was great to see them. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be doing the podcast again. But man, there is a lot of pretending going on in California right now. And now they are going to pretend to play college football in a couple weeks as the Pac-12 is slated to get started on November 7th. And you know what? I've decided I'm going to do some pretending too, because I'm going to pretend to watch it. If you would like to contact the show, maybe tell us about the biggest game of make-believe you are currently playing. We would love to hear from you. Hit us up on email, dailydosesports@gmail.com, or go find us over on Facebook or Twitter. Both of those handles are at Daly Dose Sports. Maybe you're bored. Maybe you want to talk sports. Maybe the state you live in is closed down right now. You still want someone to talk sports with. Reach out to us. We would love to hear what you have to say. Also, be sure you stop by dailydosesports.wordpress.com if you're not sure where to find the podcast, where to find some gear, where to find the Daly Dose YouTube videos. Just go to dailydosesports.wordpress.com. You can find everything you need right there. Okay, YouTube, be sure that you go over and you check out the rest of the podcast today. This week on The Dose, we have some news that we missed. We need to catch up on. But then the NBA season is now over. We need to hand out a few awards. And you know we have to do those Daily Dose style. Plus, we will have a Daily Dose top 5 for you today. We are discussing a certain player in the NBA. Sounds like he wants some respect. We are going to give him that respect today in our Daily Dose top 5. So make sure you go check out the full podcast. I will leave a link here on YouTube for you. Hope you're all doing well. I will see you all next Wednesday. Have a great week, everybody.